Today, I will be talking about how hashing works. Hash is a mathematical function which takes a message of any length and gives us an output of fixed length. Some of the most commonly used hash functions are MD5, then SHA1 family, then SHA2 family, and nowadays we also have SHA3 family. The basics steps in any hashing algorithm are: the first step is that the original message, which can be of any length, is broken down into equal size data blocks. If we are using SHA-256, then it will be broken down into the blocks of 64 bytes. In step 2, padding will be done. Padding is basically adding 1 and zeros to the last block so that its size is exactly 64 bytes. So it will only be done if it is required. And then we will apply the mathematical hash function to each block. And this mathematical hash function would be quite complicated function, which will be using exclusive OR, shifts, rotate, and there could be so many different things happening in that function. And output of our final block is the required desired hash function. So let's try to build a simple hash algorithm using bitwise exclusive OR operator. Our hash algorithm will consist of 8-bit blocks, and it will give us an output of also 8-bit number. And we will not be requiring padding if we are using ASCII encoding, because we know that each digit is converted into 8-bit number. In case if we would have decided to use a 6-bit block, then in that case, our final block will need some padding. So once we have done the first 2 steps, we have created the blocks, we don't need the padding in this case, then we will be applying our hash mathematical algorithm, which in this case is doing simple exclusive OR between different blocks. And output of final data block will be our desired hash function. Let's look at an example. So we have a small message consisting of word test. So our first step would be to break it into multiple blocks. So we will get 4 blocks. The first block is representation of T in ASCII. The second one is representation of E in ASCII. Third one is representation of S in ASCII. And the last block is representation of T in ASCII. And then we will apply hash algorithm, which is we will take block 1 and we will take block 2 and we will do an exclusive OR between them. And this is the result which we will get. So this is our first result. So we'll take the first result and we will do an exclusive OR with our third block, which will give us our second result. So we'll take our second result and do an exclusive OR with our fourth block, which will give us our final hash value. So our final hash value is 0011110001. So what has happened? We had a message which was test. We passed that message through our hash function, which was basically just doing an exclusive OR, and we got an 8-bit hashed value or message adjust, which is actually equivalent of 1. So our test has become 1. But it is important to keep in mind that it is not at all a secure hash algorithm. It can be quite easily broken down. And the maximum number of combinations which we have for this are 8. 2 raised to power 8 is 256. So it is possible to have Boolean also. So let's have a quick look at characteristic of hash functions. So the main characteristics of hash function should be that the first one is should be a one-way function. So it should not be possible for anyone to look at hash and do a reverse engineering to get the actual message. The second one is avalanche effect, which means that if single bit in the message is changed, then it should bring or cause an avalanche in the output. So output should be totally different from the previous output, which in which case a single bit has been changed. And the next thing is collision resistance, which basically refers to if we have calculating hash for 50 different messages, then each message should have its own independent and different hash. So two different messages should never give us same hash. Some of the common uses of hash functions are, the first one is the most common one, that is we use it for verification of file contents. So normally once we download a file from internet, they also provide the hash value. So we must download that hash also. And on our own computer, we should recalculate the hash of the file which you have downloaded, and we should compare it with the hash value which was provided by that website. The second use is password storage. So instead of storing passwords in plain text, most of the operating system, they store it the hash value of the password. So even in case someone is able to break into the system, so whatever, he is not able to get the or see the original passwords. Whatever, what he will get is a hashed value of the password. And we know that it should not be possible to get back to the original plain text password. And finally, hash is the fundamental building block for many crypto algorithms and protocols. So therefore, it is extremely important to understand how hash function works.